Welcome back to Out of the Rough. I'm Fred Arnold, joined by my good friend Hunt Brawley. Hunt Brawley is an attorney with the law firm of Poole and Shaffery. And Hunt specializes in land use, real estate, and government affairs. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Fred. Good to see you.
Want to talk land use and real estate. You know, what is land use and real estate? I mean, basically, you own a piece of property and you want to develop it. Tell me a little more.
Yeah, it can be a blank, vacant piece of property that you decided you want to build a commercial project or you want to build a residential or mixed use. You want to get some economic return on your property. So you start a process, get an engineer, an architect, some other consultants, and you put together a proposal. Then you go to either the city or the county and start working with staff and start working with the community to see if that's a project that would work.
So in other words, can you get buy-in from the community? Can you get buy-in from the local government or the county government or wherever you're trying to work through? That's initially the first thing you do.
Exactly. And you need to know what the zoning is, for example. Is it zoned for industrial, commercial, residential? Make sure the zoning works. If it doesn't, can you change the zoning? Can you do something called a general plan amendment or a zone amendment and make a change? And is that something that would be acceptable to the community?
Now, in this community, does it go from there? You get some consensus that people like it to the planning commission? Is that the next step?
Yes. If it needs approval, other than staff approval, which usually is the case, you'd go to the planning commission, which is a 5-member body appointed by city council. And then after that, usually you'll have to go to the city council for their approval.
And you want to do a lot of the work ahead of time. You want to make sure you're asking the right questions. You know what the city's looking for. You know what the community's looking for. So you can really shortcut some of those objections ahead of time and deal with them in your original proposal.
Well, my goal is always to figure out what the issues are beforehand, what the potential problems might be that have to be resolved. Can't resolve every issue, and sometimes you will respectfully disagree either with community members or staff or even some of the elected officials. But the point is, always get the questions answered as early as you can and figure out whether or not you can deal with them in an environmental way or a planning way.
Let's just talk about some of the pitfalls, because I know you do run into pitfalls. One of them is the environmental process.
Environmental process, many projects, depending on the size, will require what is called an environmental impact report pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. Many people have heard those phrases. They can be very expensive, over $500,000 to conduct one of those studies. It can take a year, even more to do. They're supposed to be just an analysis. That's the way it was set up 30, 40 years ago. But it's become something that people use to be able to stop projects.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but they need an expert like yourself to help them guide them through the process. I know one thing you are passionate about, and that's government affairs. Of course, it leads into getting projects approved. Tell me about your passion with government affairs and how you do that.
In a previous life, I was chief of staff to our former state senator, Ed Davis, until 1992. So I do have clients who I represent both in the city, county, and state levels that have issues with government that may not be land use, but it could be regulatory. It could be they want to get a bill passed. They have issues with our elected officials in that way, and we provide those services as well.
Yeah. Those that are looking to get started, they own a piece of land or they're thinking about buying a piece of land, first thing they need to do is they need to get a consultant.
They need to come in and talk about what they want to do. I just got hired by a tenant at the Westfield Town Center that is in there, has his lease, and the city came and said, you need a conditional use permit. And they've never gone through that process before. I think it will probably be fairly straightforward, but they've come and retained us to basically walk through the process. We know the people at City Hall, we know the process, we know how to draft and write the application. And it'll take about 3 or 4 months, but we should be able to be successful. Also on the land use issue, sometimes there's an existing use that wants to change. One of the projects we were very active in a couple years ago was the Henry Mayle Newhall Hospital specific plan, and got brought into that after it ran into some real issues with the neighborhood and with the city. And we worked very hard, put together a team, and made some important changes to the project that basically turned around the support from the public and the support from the city to a project. As you can see it being built now, you have a new parking structure, new helipad, new medical office building that's also going to have a big education center in it, and it's very positive for the community.
And that's what this community needed. It needed a world-class hospital, and it's starting to get it now. So good work on that project. Hunt, those that want to reach out to you at Poole and Shaffery, how can they reach out?
Yeah,
to you?
we have a local office here. We're a 20-member firm statewide, but 10 of the attorneys are local. It's 661-290-2991, and we're at the corner of Turney and Magic Mountain Parkway here in Santa Clarita.
Great people. I'm telling you what, Poole and Shaffery, they're David Poole, John Shaffery, they're stewards of the community along with yourself, Brian. I mean, I can go down the list
Right.
they're all great people that believe in their community that they're serving. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Fred.
Absolutely.
Have a good
Well,
day.
I hope you enjoyed this edition of Out of the Rough. If you'd like to watch us online, log into scvtv.com or fredarnold.com. If you have questions or suggest a great guest like Hunt to appear on the show, email me, fred@fredarnold.com. I hope this information gets you out of the rough and into success. And until we talk again, make it a great day. Bye-bye.